The empty stomach, the streets of the human colony world were bright, full of lights, markets, and voices. People rushed everywhere, buying food, trading goods, laughing as if nothing in the galaxy could touch them. But for one girl, all those lights meant nothing. She walked slowly between the stalls, her stomach twisting with pain. Her name was Lyra, though nobody cared enough to ask. She was not human, but close enough that humans stared at her with curiosity and distrust. Her thin arms shook as she held her empty bag against her chest. Her stomach growled so loud that she pressed her hand against it. Afraid someone might hear, she stopped near a food stall where the smell of roasted meat filled the air. Her mouth watered, but her hands were empty. She had no credits left. She checked her pouch again, hoping a coin might have been forgotten. Nothing. Only a torn piece of cloth. The human shopkeeper noticed her staring at the food. He frowned and waved his hand. Move along. If you can't pay, don't stand here. Lyra lowered her head and walked away. Her legs felt weak, every step heavy. She remembered when she used to eat warm bread on her homeworld before the war, before the Galactic Council destroyed everything. Now she was just another lost refugee. Unwanted and unseen. She tried another stall. Please. Just one piece, she whispered to a woman selling fruit. The woman's eyes narrowed. Credits. First. I don't have credits. Then you don't eat. The woman turned her back. Lyra's hands shook. Hunger was burning her from inside. Her chest felt hollow. She had begged many times before, but begging no longer worked. People looked away, pretending she wasn't there. For hours she wandered, every smell of food stabbing her heart. She passed children licking sweet ice sticks, men laughing over mugs of drink, women carrying baskets full of bread. She wanted to scream, to tear the food from their hands, but she had no strength left. Her vision blurred. She sat on the corner of the street, back against a wall. The world felt cold and far away. She whispered to herself, voice almost gone. No credits, no food. My body is all I have left. Her hands gripped her thin arms. She hated the thought, but hunger was stronger than pride. On her world, they used to say the body was sacred, never to be sold. But now, she was nothing but a shadow. What else could she offer? Her eyes searched the crowd. Then she saw him. A human soldier, standing alone at the edge of the street. His uniform was dusty, his face tired, but his eyes were sharp. He had the look of someone who had seen war. Lyra's heart raced. Fear and shame mixed inside her, but so did desperation. If she didn't eat tonight, she would not wake tomorrow. She pushed herself up, her legs weak and shaking. Step by step, she moved toward him. The soldier noticed her. His hand went to the strap of his rifle, cautious. Lyra stopped in front of him. She lowered her head, her voice trembling. I have no credits. I need food. My body. It's the only currency I have. You can use it, just for one meal. The street noises seemed to vanish around her. She felt the soldier's eyes on her, heavy and unreadable. Her heart pounded so loud she thought he could hear it. Shame burned her face. For a long moment, he said nothing. Lyra squeezed her eyes shut, waiting for rejection, or for him to grab her arm, like others had before. But instead, she heard something. Unexpected, a calm voice. Is that truly what you think your life is worth? Her eyes opened in shock. The soldier was not smiling, not mocking her. He looked angry, but not at her, angry at something else. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small credit card, and turned toward a food stall. Come, he said. Eat. Lyra froze. She could not understand. Why? Why would a human give without taking? She followed him slowly, afraid it was a trick. But the soldier bought her a plate of steaming food and placed it in her hands. The smell made her knees weak. She wanted to devour it, but tears blurred her eyes. She whispered, "Why? Why would you do this?" The soldier looked at her with tired eyes. "Because you are starving, and no one should think their body is the only currency left." Lyra stared at him, the plate trembling in her hands. For the first time in months, warmth touched her chest, not just from food, but from something she had forgotten long ago. Hope, but in the shadows of the street, unseen eyes were watching. And soon her past would return to haunt her. Asterisk the bargain. Plate of food felt heavy in Lyra's hands, as if it was more than just bread and meat. It was survival itself. She sat on a small bench near the edge of the market, trembling as she took the first bite. The taste was rich, warm, almost painful after weeks of emptiness. The soldier stood nearby, arms crossed, watching the crowd. He did not touch her or demand anything. He simply guarded her while she ate. Between bites, Lyra's eyes lifted to him. I don't understand," she whispered. The soldier looked at her. "What don't you understand?" "You gave me food, but you took nothing." Her voice broke. No human ever gives without wanting something. His expression darkened. "Not every human is the same." The words shook her. She had grown up hearing how humans were cruel, selfish, always calculating. Her people had whispered that humans only gave when they planned to take something greater in return. Yet here stood one who proved them wrong. Still, her mind could not rest. "Why me?" she asked. "Why help a stranger?" He leaned forward, his voice calm but sharp. "Because you're starving. And because the galaxy is full of people who look away. I don't." His words pierced her heart. She felt both grateful and suspicious. Maybe he was different, or maybe this was the start of another trap. She ate slowly, stretching the meal as long as possible. Each bite carried fear. What would he ask for when she finished? Finally, she set the empty plate down. "I have nothing else to give," she said quietly. The soldier's gaze did not waver. "I didn't ask for payment?" Her hands clenched. "But food costs credits. I have none." He leaned back against the wall, his eyes searching hers. "Tell me something instead. Tell me why you thought your body was the only currency left." Her breath caught. She wanted to stay silent, to keep her secrets buried. But his voice was not cruel. It was steady, almost protective. Something in her wanted to trust, though. Trust had betrayed her many times before. She lowered her eyes. "Because the council made sure we had nothing else." The soldier's brow furrowed. "Council?" She nodded slowly. "I was not always like this. I once lived in a city of glass towers, working in the council databanks. I had family, food, safety. Until the war came, my people were useful, but not important. The council took what they wanted, then they erased us." Her voice trembled as she spoke, words spilling out after months of silence. "They destroyed my world, scattered us like dust. Survivors were left with no names, no credits, no rights. We became shadows. The only thing left was our bodies, and even that they took whenever they wished." The soldier's jaw tightened. His fists curled at his sides. "And you?" he asked. Her throat closed. She could not say the words, but he seemed to understand anyway. His anger grew sharper, though not at her. "I escaped," she whispered. "But escape is not freedom. Without credits, without a name, what am I? I am nothing." The soldier leaned closer. "You are not nothing. You are alive. That's worth more than you think." His words startled her. She searched his face for lies, but saw only truth and fire in his eyes. For a moment, silence stretched between them. The noise of the market faded. Lyra felt something she had not felt in years' safety, but then a shadow passed. A figure stood across the street, half hidden, watching them. His cloak hid most of his face, but his eyes glowed faintly with technology. Lyra stiffened. Her breath froze. She knew that look. A council tracker. The soldier noticed her fear. His hand drifted toward his rifle. "What is it?" she whispered, barely audible. "They found me." The soldier's eyes narrowed. "Who?" Her voice cracked. "The council. They hunt those who know too much." The soldier glanced back at the cloaked figure. The man disappeared into the crowd, but not before giving a subtle signal to someone unseen. The soldier turned to Lyra, his tone firm. "You're not safe here. Tell me the truth. Why are they after you?" Her lips trembled. She wanted to run, to hide, but there was no escape anymore. She had spoken too much, revealed too many cracks. With shaking hands, she pulled a small data crystal from her torn clothes. It shimmered faintly in the dim light. "This is why," she whispered. "Inside are files the council never wanted anyone to see. Proof of what they did to my people. Proof of what they plan next." The soldier's eyes locked on the crystal. A storm brewed in his gaze. "Then feeding you was not the bargain," he said slowly. "The real bargain starts now." Lyra clutched the crystal, her heart racing. For the first time, she saw not just a soldier, but a man standing at the edge of something far greater than food or hunger. And she realized her fight for survival had only just begun. Asterisk. The hidden truth. The soldier and Lyra moved quickly through the narrow back alleys of the human colony. The market's noise faded behind them, replaced by the sound of distant engines and quiet shadows. Lyra's hands shook as she held the small data crystal against her chest. Every step felt heavier, every corner dangerous. She knew the council would not stop until they silenced her forever. The soldier walked in front, scanning the alleys, his rifle ready. His face was tense, his jaw clenched. He didn't know her well, yet he acted as if protecting her was his duty. At last, they stopped inside a small, abandoned warehouse. The air was filled with dust, and the walls were broken from years of neglect. The soldier checked the doors, making sure no one followed them. "Sit," he said firmly. Lyra lowered herself onto a broken crate, her body trembling. Hunger still ached in her stomach, but now fear was stronger. The soldier crouched in front of her. "You're going to tell me what's on that crystal. No lies." Her eyes flicked to the exit. She could run, but where? There was nowhere left. Slowly she nodded. "This crystal," she whispered, "holds everything I stole before I escaped. The council's plans. The records of how they destroyed my people. And worse," her voice cracked, "what they plan to do to yours." The soldier's eyes narrowed. "Humans?" She nodded, tears forming. "Yes, the council sees you as a threat. They say humans are dangerous, too wild, too stubborn, impossible to control. But instead of respecting you, they plan to break you before you grow stronger." The soldier's face turned grim. He leaned back, his fists tight. "How?" he asked. Lyra closed her eyes. "They will use the same way they destroyed us. First, starvation, then forced death, then slavery. They want to take your worlds one by one, until you beg for their mercy. They already have fleets in place, hidden, waiting." The soldier cursed under his breath. His anger was not loud, but sharp like a knife. She looked at him, her voice trembling. "That's why they hunt me, because I carry the proof. Without this crystal, it's only my word. And my word is worth nothing to them." Silence fell between them. Dust floated in the broken light from the ceiling. Finally, the soldier spoke. "Why trust me? I could take that crystal, turn you in, and walk away with credits." Lyra's grip tightened on the crystal. "Because you fed me," she whispered. "Because in all my years of running, no one else looked at me like a person. You did." The soldier stared at her. His eyes softened, just for a moment. "Names," he said quietly. "I need names. Fleet locations. Something real." Her hands trembled as she inserted the crystal into a small port on her wristband. A faint hologram flickered to life above her hand. Lines of data appeared: coordinates, fleet designations, encrypted reports, images of slave camps, lists of destroyed colonies. But then a final document glowed red. A single heading: Project Silence. Target: humanity. The soldier's breath froze. He read the lines quickly, his face hardening with every word. It spoke of weapons built to disable human ships, diseases designed to spread only among human DNA, and plans to infiltrate human governments with false allies. "This," he whispered, "this is war." Lyra looked down. "It's already war. You just don't know it yet." Before he could answer, a loud clang echoed through the warehouse. Both froze. The soldier raised his rifle. "Stay behind me." Shadows moved at the edge of the doorway. Figures slipped inside 3, no, 4 of them. Cloaked, silent, with eyes that glowed faintly. Council hunters. Lyra's heart stopped. They had been found. The leader stepped forward, his voice metallic, calm. "Return the crystal. The girl's life is over. Spare yourself, human." The soldier's answer came with the sound of his rifle charging. "Not today." The hunters moved fast, but the soldier was faster. Shots cracked in the air. Sparks lit the shadows. Lyra ducked, covering her ears. The crystal clutched tight. 2 hunters fell, but the others pressed forward, blades drawn. The soldier blocked one, struggling as metal clashed against his weapon. One hunter broke past him, charging straight for Lyra. She screamed, stumbling back at the last second. The soldier tackled the attacker, slamming him into the wall. "Run!" he shouted, but she couldn't. Her legs froze. Her mind screamed at her to move, but her body refused. The leader of the hunters raised his weapon, aiming for the soldier's chest. Lyra's voice cracked through the dust in fear. "Stop!" The hunter's eyes shifted to her. "In that single second," the soldier fired again. The leader dropped, sparks spilling from his chest. Silence. The warehouse stank of smoke and blood. The soldier stood, breathing hard, rifle still smoking. His arm was cut, but he ignored it. He turned to her, eyes sharp. "They won't stop," he said. "You're marked. And now, so am I." Lyra held the crystal close, her heart pounding. She knew he was right. From this moment, there was no turning back. The truth was out, and the galaxy would burn because of it. The dangerous secret, the warehouse, was silent except for the sound of the soldier's heavy breathing. Smoke from the broken rifles and scorched walls drifted in the air. Lyra sat on the cracked floor, clutching the data crystal so tightly that her fingers ached. The soldier wiped the blood from his arm. The cut was shallow, but it stung. He didn't complain. His eyes stayed sharp, scanning the shadows, waiting for another attack. "They'll send more," he muttered. "Council hunters never come alone." Lyra swallowed hard. Her throat felt dry. "Then we have to leave. If they catch me again, they'll erase everything. They'll erase me." The soldier turned to her. "You're not being erased." "Not while I'm here." His voice was strong, but Lyra knew the truth. Protecting her meant he was already in danger. She almost wished she hadn't spoken to him, hadn't taken his food. But deep down, she knew fate had chosen this moment. A soldier crouched near her. "You said the crystal has files that prove their crimes. That's more than just survival. That's a weapon." Her eyes widened. "A weapon?" He nodded. Information is a weapon, stronger than guns. If humans knew the truth, if your story spread, the Council's lies would fall apart. But we need to get this crystal to someone who can use it. Lyra's chest tightened. If the Council knows, they'll kill us before we even reach them. The soldier gave a thin smile. They can try. For a moment, she stared at him. Humans were strange. Brutal and kind, dangerous and compassionate all at once. She had grown up fearing them. Now one of them was the only reason she was still alive. But deep inside, a question gnawed at her. Could she really trust him? Or was she only trading? One cage for another? She held out the crystal, her hands shaking. There's more you haven't seen. Something I couldn't tell you before. If you read it, you'll understand why the Council will burn entire planets to stop me. The soldier took the crystal carefully. His fingers brushed hers warm, steady, human. He placed it into his wrist display. Lines of encrypted data filled the air, glowing faintly. One file opened. A hologram of a council chamber appeared. Tall figures in robes, their voices recorded in cold detail. Human expansion must be controlled. Their adaptability is dangerous. Their compassion spreads rebellion. If not chained now, they will. Become unstoppable. Phase 1, famine. Phase 2, forced labor. Phase 3, assimilation. The voices cut off. The recording ended. The soldier's jaw tightened. Assimilation. That means extermination. Lyra shook her head. Not extermination. Worse. They take what makes you human and twist it. They use your compassion as chains. They enslave others by making them believe it's mercy. The soldier's face hardened. He understood now why she had run. Why the Council wanted her silenced. This wasn't just about her people. It was about all people. Before he could respond, a sharp sound pierced the silence. Beep, beep, beep. His wrist display flickered red. Tracking signal, he hissed. They locked onto the crystal. Fear ripped through Lyra. We can't stay here. He grabbed her arm, pulling her to her feet. Then we move, now. They burst into the night. The colony's streets were quieter now, the markets closing. But in the distance, lights flashed patrol drones sweeping the skies. Lyra's legs burned as they ran. Every sound felt like a hunter at their back. The soldier moved with precision, guiding her through hidden paths and service tunnels. But the signal beeped again, closer this time. They're not giving up. Lyra gasped. They never do. He replied at last. They reached an underground shelter, hidden behind a rusted grate. Inside, the air smelled of oil and dust. The soldier sealed the door behind them, his face grim. We can't carry the crystal like this. It's a beacon, he said. Lyra's hands shook. Then what do we do? The soldier studied her, his eyes sharp. We hide the truth where no one can erase it, broadcast it, spread it faster than they can chase it. Once the galaxy sees what's inside, the Council can't kill the story, not anymore. Her heart raced. It was daring, dangerous, but maybe. He was right. Still, she hesitated. Her voice dropped to a whisper. If we fail, they'll crush your people before they even rise. The soldier leaned closer, his eyes burning with fire. Then we don't fail. For a moment, silence filled the room. Lyra realized something she had not wanted to admit. This human was not just protecting her. He was preparing for war, and she was the spark that could light it. Asterisk. The rising fire, the underground shelter was dim and quiet, the only light coming from the glowing crystal in the soldier's hand. Lyra sat across from him, her eyes wide, her chest rising and falling with nervous breaths. He spoke in a low, steady voice. If we keep running, they'll catch us. If we hide, they'll find us. The only way forward is to fight back with the truth. Lyra hugged her knees tightly. You don't understand. The Council isn't just powerful. They control the trade, the fleets, even the media streams. If we show this to the wrong people, it disappears. If we show it to the right people, they kill us before anyone listens. The soldier's expression didn't change. His jaw was firm, his eyes sharp. Then we need someone who can't be silenced. He tapped his wrist display and sent a coded signal. Lyra watched nervously as the device blinked, searching for a connection. Minutes later, a voice answered. Commander Hall, you've gone dark for hours. Report. The soldier straightened. I found something. A survivor with information the Council doesn't want out. I need immediate clearance to bring her in. The voice on the other side hesitated. Survivor? Information? Lyra felt panic rise in her throat. What if this commander betrayed them? What if she was just another tool, another problem to be erased? She grabbed the soldier's arm. No, she whispered. They won't believe me. They'll lock me away. But Halle shook his head. They'll believe, because I'll make them. Within hours, they slipped through tunnels and boarded a small transport. Lyra had never been inside a human military ship before. The air smelled of metal and oil, the walls humming with power. She stayed close to Halle, her eyes darting to every soldier who looked her way. The crew whispered, curious about the strange alien girl clinging to their commander. When they reached the command chamber, a tall woman with steel-gray hair stepped forward. Her uniform was perfect, her gaze sharp as a blade. Halle, she said. Explain yourself. He nodded and handed her the crystal. The Council's plans. Proof they intend to break humanity the way they destroyed her people. The woman raised an eyebrow, but activated the crystal. The holograms flickered too. Life-slave camps, destroyed colonies, the Council's secret votes. The room fell silent. When the final file appeared, Project Silence. Target humanity gasps filled the chamber. Soldiers muttered, anger burning in their voices. The woman's eyes narrowed. Is this real? Lyra's voice trembled. Yes, I lived through it. I watched them erase my people. And I stole this before I ran. They've been hunting me ever since. The woman studied her for a long moment. Finally, she turned back to Halle. If this is true, then the Council is already at war with us. Sheila nodded. Then it's time we act like it. Murmurs of agreement spread through the officers. Some looked afraid, others furious. For years, humans had lived under the Council's shadow. Now that shadow had teeth. But the gray-haired commander raised her hand. If we move too soon, they'll crush us. Humanity isn't united. Some of our own leaders still bow to the Council. Lyra leaned forward, desperation in her voice. And show them the truth. Broadcast it. Make the people see what's coming. Once they know, they will rise. They will fight. The commander's cold eyes turned to her. And you think one starving refugee can ignite a war? Lyra's chest tightened. For a moment, she almost shrank back, but then she remembered the soldier's words. You are not nothing. She lifted her chin. Not me, the truth. The woman studied her, then slowly nodded. Prepare the broadcast. Secure every channel. The officers moved quickly, tapping displays, linking satellites. The crystal's files began to upload, spreading through secure networks. But even as the lights blinked and signals traveled across the stars, Lyra felt a chill. She knew the Council would sense it. They would strike before the truth spread too far. And she was right. That warning, alarms blared through the ship. Red lights flashed. A voice shouted over the intercom. Council ships inbound. They've tracked the signal. The command room erupted in chaos. Soldiers ran to their stations. Weapons charged, shields raised. The commander barked orders with steady authority. Halle grabbed Lyra's arm. Stay with me. Don't let go. Through the viewing window, the darkness of space lit up as Council warships descended, their hulls glowing with deadly power. Lyra's stomach turned. The very ships she had seen destroy her homeworld now aimed at humanity. But this time, something was different. This time, humanity was ready. The soldiers around her were not begging, not hiding. Their faces burned with anger, their hands steady on their weapons. The commander's voice cut through the tension. For too long, we have bowed our heads. Tonight, we show the galaxy what humanity does when cornered. We rise. The ship shook. As the first shots fired, Lyra clung to Holly, her heart pounding. She had thought her life was over when she offered her body for food. Yet now she was the witness to something greater, the beginning of a fire that could burn the young. Council's empire to ashes. The price of survival. The ship trembled as Council warships surrounded them, their cannons glowing with deadly light. Alarms screamed, red lights flashing across every corridor. Lyra stood frozen beside Commander Howell, clutching the edge of the control panel. Her eyes widened as she saw the enemy fleet through the viewing window. Massive vessels, sharp like blades covering the stars. "This is it," Hale muttered. His voice was steady, but his fists were tight on the railing. "They've come to silence us before the truth spreads." Commander Gray, the steel-haired woman, raised her voice across the command deck. "Shields up, weapons hot. Broadcast at full strength." Her officers moved with precision, but Lyra felt fear pressing in like a storm. "You can't win against them," she whispered. "Their ships are stronger. Their numbers." Hale cut her off. His eyes burned with fire. "We don't need to win. We just need to hold long enough for the truth to reach the stars." The first volley struck. The ship shook violently, lights flickering. Sparks rained from broken panels. Crew members struggled to stay on their feet, but no one abandoned their post. "Return fire." Gray ordered. Cannons roared. Human weapons slammed into the Council's shields, shaking but not breaking them. The deck rumbled with each exchange. Lyra pressed her back to the wall, heart pounding. She remembered her own world's final battle, the screams, the fire, the silence after her people fell. She couldn't watch it happen again. Yet Hale's voice pulled her back. "Stay with me," he said firmly. "Don't lose hope. Not now." The words steadied her trembling. For the first time, she believed him. Suddenly, the com officer shouted, "Broadcast spreading. Files are reaching outer colonies, civilian networks, picking it up." Gray's lips curved into a sharp smile. "Good. Let the galaxy see the truth before we fall." But the Council was not blind. Their lead ship charged its main weapon, a beam capable of cutting through a city. The glowing barrel pointed straight at them. Lyra's breath caught. "They'll destroy us." Hale looked at her, then at the weapon charging. His hand tightened around his rifle. "Not if I can stop them." He sprinted toward the auxiliary controls, ignoring the sparks and smoke. Lyra chased after him. "Hale, no." He turned his head, his eyes steady, his face set with unshakable resolve. "If they silence this ship, everything you risked will mean nothing. If my life buys you more time, it's worth it." Her chest ached. She wanted to scream, to beg him not to go, but the words stuck in her throat. He activated the emergency override, forcing the ship's engines into a dangerous surge. "Divert all power to the forward cannons," he shouted. The crew hesitated. Gray's eyes narrowed. Then she barked, "Do it!" The ship roared as energy bled from every system, lights flickering out. For a moment, everything was dark then. The forward cannons glowed brighter than ever before. "Fire!" Hale commanded. A thunderous blast shot across space, slamming into the Council's lead ship. Their shield cracked, shattering like glass. The warship spun, its glowing weapon flickering dead. The deck exploded with cheers, but the victory was short. Enemy ships closed in tighter, firing with fury. Lyra grabbed Hale's arm. His chest was bleeding from shrapnel, 3 deep wounds. Across his side. He swayed but didn't fall. "You're hurt." She cried. He gave a weak smile. "I've been hurt worse." "Keep the crystal safe." Tears filled her eyes. "I thought my body was the only currency I had. But you—" He stopped her with a shake of his head. "Your life. Your truth. That's the real currency. Don't forget it." The ship rocked again, another blast striking the hull. But then a sudden voice cut through the comms. Unidentified. Fleet approaching multiple signatures. Everyone froze. Then the officer shouted, "It's humans. Independent colonies." "They've answered the broadcast." Through the window, dozens of ships appeared, some small, some large, patched together. From miners, traders, and mercenaries. But they came armed and ready. The comm filled with voices. "We heard the signal. Council lies end tonight. For humanity." Cheers erupted across the deck. The human fleet opened fire, swarming the council ships from all sides. For the first time in years, Lyra saw something the council had always feared: unity. The battle raged on, but the tide shifted. The council, unprepared for such resistance, faltered under the weight of human defiance. As explosions lit the stars, Hale leaned against the console, his face pale from blood loss. Lyra knelt beside him, holding his hand tightly. "You saved me," she whispered, tears sliding down her cheeks. His voice was faint, but steady. "No, you saved us. You gave us the truth." The ship shook one last time as the council fleet retreated, their formation breaking apart. The humans had won for now. The crew erupted in cheers, voices echoing through the ship. Gray's voice rang over the comm. "Tonight, humanity stood against the council. And we did not fall." Lyra looked down at Hale. His eyes closed, but his chest still rose with breath. Relief washed over her like warm light. She held the crystal to her chest, realizing the truth. She had once thought survival meant selling her body for a single meal. But survival was bigger than hunger. It was hope. It was sacrifice. It was trust. And in the fire of humanity's rising, she had found something stronger than fear, a new beginning. Asterisk.